What up, folks? Oh, shit. All right, folks. We are live. We are live. We are live. Live with Lonzo, the Godfather, West Coast Hip Hop. My man, Dusty Vision. From the West Coast to the East Coast and everything between, folks. From Eve after dark to concerts in the park. We're live with your boy Lonzo, the Godfather, West Coast Hip Hop. This is how we do it every Tuesday, y'all. Me and the Dusty one. Straight out of Compton. Straight out of time. What up? What up? What up, Dusty one? Hello? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm good. I can't complain, man. I can't complain. Just sitting here. I don't know if I've been enjoying the rain, experiencing the rain, or just rocking with the rain, because it's been raining off and on all day long.
Man, dude, I another week, and I didn't think we would be talking about this rain. It seems like every week for the past 3 or 4 weeks we've been talking about this.
Man, look, it was I thought it was supposed to be springtime next day or two or tomorrow or something like that. Spring supposed to jump off any day now. You know, damn, I thought we'd be ready. I could break out the Cadillac by now. Shit.
Man, for real, for real. Lots to talk about. Before we jump into everything, I saw you had Mama Boo on earlier.
Yes,
shout out
sir.
to Mama Boo. It's always a pleasure watching her on screen. I'll just say that. She's a beautiful, lovely lady. But not only that, she has a lot going on. Can you maybe give a shout out to what you guys talked about? I know she has some important stuff going on.
Yeah, she's running for the neighborhood council for the area in which we live in. She lives right around the corner from me. We both live in the same neighborhood council area, and she wants to be the chair. You know, she is dedicated to the community. She is a product of the community. She knows the pitfalls, the assets, she knows everything there is to know about our area. She went to school in the area. She lives in the area, stayed in the area. Kids grew up here. And she knows what the area needs to be improved. She's already showed her dedication by doing what she does with her women's organization. And she's just a fabulous lady, man. And like I said, like I always tease her, used to couldn't stand my ass. Okay, she used to could not stand my ass. Me and her dude was partners, and he always had me do his dirty work. You know, this bullshit, man. And I'm like, and every time something came up, he'd always go tell her. But I got to go tell her. And you know, I was the responsible homie. And she'd always give me them eyes like, Negro, if I caught you in the alley, I'd kick you. But find out, man, she's a real sweetheart, Doc. She just, going through some things.
That's what's up. Shout out to Mama Boo, man. Support Mama Boo. Let's jump into it. Before we head to the Niggaverse, Lonzo, I want to chat with you about something. People love our Easy E stories, and we are coming up on the 28th anniversary of the death of Easy E, March 26th. 1995. I can't believe it's been that long. We have new listeners all the time, new viewers. So let's talk a little bit about Easy E. And I tried to pick some. I had to turn my mic up. I tried to pick some stuff that we haven't really talked about in a while. So let's just go back, man. Let's go back. Tell us what your first impression were when you first met him.
There wasn't no impression. It's just a little short dude, wearing a t-shirt, some jeans, wanted to come in the Eve after dark. And I'm like, dude, at that time, the Eve was I ain't gonna say high class, but it was an upscale teen spot. You know, we had a dress code. You had to wear college shirts, dress shoes. You know, we're talking about the 80s, man, the 81, 82. And the dress code of the streets was totally different. You had your thug wear, of course, but for the most part, if you want to go to a party that was about anything, you had to step your game up. And he didn't want to do it at the time. He's like, oh, man, I got to do that to come in here. Dre did, but he didn't. And I purposely made his ass stand outside and let Dre up just to piss him off. And he eventually came around, but he didn't come to the Eve that much. He came to the Eve a few times, but he came to Dudos a lot more. Dudos was in the city of Compton. Eve was around the corner. And the Eve was more in a different neighborhood, and I guess he may have felt comfortable coming over there. Although they were both the same colors, but Eve was more. Dudos was more in the in the city of Compton. So it is what it is.
time, right?
But you're breaking up. Say it again now.
Yeah, you were running Eve and Dudo
For a while, I
simultaneously at
was.
the
Yeah, I
same
was
time.
doing doodles on Friday, Eve on Saturday. Um, most people don't realize, don't know that. One time I had 3 nightclubs at one time. It's nothing for me to run multiple venues at one time. I would do Eve on Friday. Doodles on Friday, Eve on Saturday, and then after a while I would do Doodles on Friday and Skateland on Saturday, and then when I came back to the Eve in 2008, I had a deal with the old man. I ran downstairs the male strip club, upstairs the adult club, and I also had a room at the Proud Bird on Aviation and Imperial Highway. So for a while there, I was picking up money every Saturday night. I was a money picking up son of a bitch. It was some good times. It was some good times.
Man, I bet, dude. Um, why do you think we hear more about Eve After Dark today than we do about Dudos? It seems like even you and I, it seems like we talk more about Eve After Dark than we do Dudos. Dr. Dre put Eve After Dark on Super Bowl. Like, why do you think it has I guess, a bigger legacy? I don't know if that's the right word.
I can't say it had a bigger legacy. It had a different legacy. Eve After Dark was the root of West Coast hip hop. Before Uncle Jam's Army did their first sports arena dance, Eve After Dark was already rocking. When a lot of guys were still running around doing banquet halls and trying to rent a hotel room, Eve After Dark was rocking. When people were this getting into hip hop, we was bringing Curtis Blow, Run DMC onto the West Coast at Eve After Dark. Before hip hop it really took hold, Eve After Dark started off being a club just that for teenagers, and the music that we played at the Eve back in the day, man, was pretty much R&B and a little bit of disco and a lot of soul. There was dance music then. We didn't get into the heavy hip hop until shit maybe about 83, 84 down there. That's when we started hearing the Planet Rocks and a lot more hip hop. Sugar Hill Gang came out, of course, and then they had the Message, then they had the Apache, and Super Rhymes came out, and then Soul Sonic Force and Africa Bambaataa, and the shit we was rocking the Buffalo Girls. Okay, that was a big cut in Eve After Dark. Buffalo Girls, round me outside, round me outside. That was a big shit, man. One of the biggest cuts we had at Eve After Dark was Double Just Bust. That was the shit. Captain Rap, thank you, 101. 111 shit. Captain Rap was the shit. Okay, Bad Times, come on, man. That was, them was rap records, but them wasn't the regular rap record. Them was some rocking motherfuckers, man. That your shit's finna go up. When you play on Bad Times, your shit's about to go up. Okay. And then we also had at the same time, we had Howard Johnson, So Fine. We had all kind of shit, man. We had such a big mixture of music back then. We had a lot to pull from it. That's why even though I had 4 DJs at the club, nobody played the same shit. Every once in a while, we would overlap just for the hell of it. Okay? Every once in a while, somebody would overlap for a request. But for the most part, man, we had enough music back then. We didn't even overlap. And that's just the way it was. We was rocking the Rick James and Prince, Michael, all that shit is the same. And then we played Michael McDonald, shit like that. Okay. We just had a wide variety of music to pull from at that time. So, and then my playlist was even deeper than most cats because I've been playing so long. So I had a bunch of stuff from the 70s I dropped. Shit, we played KC and the Sunshine Band at Eve After Dark, man. Shit, motherfuckers go up on some KC, and like my boy 111 said, the time, get it up. Oh man, it's finna go down. We just had a big variety of music to pull for. It was not limited whatsoever. So,
and everybody wanted to dance, it seemed like, right?
That's all they wanted to do. Nothing else was on the menu. Dancing and trying to get laid. If not that night, within the next 48 hours. If you ain't gonna get laid, you probably won't get laid that night. unless you work for the club. Okay, you work for you one of the fellas, you might get a visit to the van or some shit like that. But for the most part, everybody was plotting and planning for the following day or the following week.
Dudos at the same time. What kind of vibe would one expect if they walked into Dudos back then?
Dudos, a lot of the same stuff at Dudos, but Dudos was so much bigger. It just looked like a bigger. Dudos was three times big as Eve, maybe 4 times bigger than Eve. Eve held about 300 people. Dudos had like 1,200, and it took a lot more people to fill Eve up. To fill Dudos up, and it just it had a bigger stage in it, and the music was back by that time. We were doing a lot of Midnight Star, Cameo, and Slave was the shit back then. Okay, Slave was the shit. So all these acts played a major role in the soundtrack of both of those clubs. And hip hop was around, but it hadn't really. LL was 17, man. When LL came to do those, he was 17 and got booed. Got fucking booed at Skateland because I think he had on some blue shit or something like that. He had the wrong color.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. Tell that story again. You guys are in a Bloodhood, and he was wearing all blue.
Yeah, on the wrong color, whatever it was, and somebody threw a shoe at his ass. I believe it was something like that. Yeah, it was crazy, dude. It was crazy.
Damn. I guess he didn't get the memo, huh?
No, he did not get the memo. He would come out and play, being all hard and shit. And Hard had not quite caught on yet. They were still finessing people. MCs were still finessing. Okay. We by this time we playing Freeze Come Out at Night and some other shit, And this I don't know, maybe I think might have been playing 5 Minutes of Funk. But it was a lot more finesse than it was aggression. And that made a big difference to how people accepted you. Because again, that was the first time they saw anything like that.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which place gave you the least headaches, Dudos or Eve After Dark?
Skateland. Those two right there. I had to be on point. I had at Skateland, Eve After Dark. I had to be on point because I had to answer to Jeffy. That was my first club, and he kept his foot on my ass. Okay, he kept his foot on my neck. He was on my. He would just walk up the steps and just stand there. Jeffy's 6'4". Okay, and he walked in the room. He's the tallest motherfucker in the room. Okay, and when he came in the room, you could tell by what he had on. He didn't belong there. Okay, but you knew he belonged there because you could tell it. You tell he had authority. Okay. He didn't say shit. He just looking around, stand there for a few minutes, shake his head, and get the fuck out of there, okay? And if he saw something he didn't like, he'd call me on the phone later on and give it to me. Dudos, I was under pressure from Dudos to succeed at Dudos because people told me I couldn't do it. And that was a whole nother motivation. I'd already been trained to run this shit at Eve After Dark by Jeffy. Old man Dusty was 87 years old when I got to do those. He wasn't staying up all night. He wasn't walking in the club. His stepson would oversee the venue. His stepson saw all the shit, including my shit. And he would come through there and, he was cool, but he didn't really give a damn. But I still had people's babies to be responsible for. At Dudos, the age limit was a lot younger. So I got 14, 15-year-olds in there. And, that's a different kind of responsibility, man. People's babies, that's a different kind of responsibility. So I had to make sure that them kids went home. That was my function, to make sure everybody's kids went home. And for the most part, everybody's kids did get home. That's why we had ample security, because back then, a lot of folks just walked up to the spot. Some parents dropped them off, but a lot of kids lived in the neighborhood. They just walked. They walked to Dudos. They walked to Skate Land. They walked to Eve After Dark. It was in a neighborhood. So you might if you walk from Compton to Eve After Dark, you only had to go like maybe walk a half a mile from Compton. You would Eve After Dark. And Dudos was in a hood. Dudos set in the middle of two or three hoods. So you could get walking distance. You had a walk-up clientele, literally a walk-up clientele at Dudos and Skate Land. So you had to just be aware of any potential dump shit. Dump shit was not as prevalent as back then as it is now. I don't recall nobody getting shot or getting shot at on a drive-by coming home from Dudos or Skate Land. But it just, you just want to make sure everybody get home, man. Yes, Dudos was right next door. Literally, if you hop the fence in the Dudos, you're gonna be in Skate Land. You go the other way, you're gonna be on Dudos. They was literally next door to each other. So it just, it's just my sense of responsibility was probably my biggest competition at that time. That's probably what I was fighting. I was competing against me to get people's kids home safely.
Keeping the kid aspect in it in 2023, do you think an Eve After Dark and or a Dudos would last in 2023?
Man, I don't know, dude. When I saw a video just a few minutes ago of cops trying to break up a goddamn street takeover, and fools jumped on the hood of the police car with the sirens on in Compton, I'm like, dude, that ain't no respect, man.
The bad guys are taking over, man.
There ain't no respect. So I don't want to put myself in that position, man. I'm too old to be fighting cases. I ain't trying to lose my house, get fighting no lawsuits behind trying to give somebody a party that don't appreciate it. Nah. If your idea of going in circles at 100 miles an hour is a party, you ain't the person I want to mess with.
Yeah. If you call the police, I'm sure it'll be hours
if they show up,
if they ever even come. Back then, when you had a problem and you called them, would they show up? Like back when you were doing your thing, did they show up pretty quickly?
And even to dark, we had a thing. We would let the cops know, hey man, we got a big party tonight. If y'all in the area, not too busy, about closing time, could y'all come through? Sometimes they just pull up, and that's all we needed them to pull up, and just the presence of the police detoured any bullshit. Okay, detoured any bullshit. Got the parking lot cleaned out faster. And if it was a big crowd, they may have to get on the PA, hey, get in your cars, go home. And somebody throw up a finger, but they get in their car and go home. Okay. And that made a big difference.
Man. All right, let's move. Let's keep talking about Eazy a little bit.
So
you knew Eazy personally better than a lot of people. Why do you think you knew Eazy personally better than a lot of people? Why do you think 30 years later, people still love Eazy as much as they did, if not more now than when he was alive?
That's a good question, man. People tend to really immortalize people after they check out, man, after they pass. I remember the same thing happened with Martin and Malcolm. Martin Luther King was not well liked. He was not all that liked that well by a lot of people back in the day. But once he died, got killed, he was the shit. He was the man.
No shit. Can you break that down a little bit? Can you break that down about MLK a little bit? I didn't know that.
Well, MLK, it was a big issue. He was considered a rebel rouser to some people, a troublemaker. Okay, even for some black people, they saw him as being a troublemaker. Okay, some people were had been so programmed to go along with the program. Here comes somebody, this young kid, because he wasn't like 33, 34 years old. This young kid starting all this shit, getting people's ass whooped and stuff, getting dogs and water cannons sprayed on people and shit, man. He's crazy. And then Malcolm was just the opposite, because he was like, let's whoop their ass. Okay, let's go for it. And that, again, he's a troublemaker. So both of them had their issues. Everybody wasn't behind them 110%. And it's the same thing, with guys like Eazy. Eazy, he started off, he was hated by the media, and a lot of people didn't care for him in the beginning. Okay, You know, a lot of people didn't care for N.W.A in the beginning. They had their issues too, but at some point in time, all that shit flipped over and they became heroes. They went from zeros to heroes in less than 60 seconds. And why the thing with Tupac? You know, Tupac, I would think it was more rightfully so than Easy in some ways, because Tupac, one thing about him, he left a serious body of work behind him. Not only music, music and movies. I don't call Easy doing no movies. I know he did some videos, but I'm gonna call him doing no movies. But Tupac, you know, he showed his talent. He showed a lot more talent and potential than a lot of people have and still alive. So it is what it is.
I want to ask you, since you were alive back then, I'm looking back as a youngster, whose philosophy, Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, would you say you would have gravitated to more when you were younger in the 60s, 70s, whatever? And is that the same today? Like, who would you gravitate to more, philosophy-wise, obviously, as a young black man?
I ain't never been one for getting the ass whooping, but I ain't stupid either. Okay. I ain't never been one for getting the ass whooping, just to show them love and whoop your ass. And as most people don't know that Martin was leaning towards some of Malcolm's philosophies right before he got killed. Okay, he was leaning toward, like, you know what, this loving, trying to love somebody whooping your ass, it ain't really getting the point across. And I probably would have been more of a if I hadn't been raised Catholic, I probably would have been more on the Malcolm side, because I wanted to be a Black Panther. I wanted to be a young Black Panther back in the day. So I would have to say, just from my upbringing, my mom, she liked Martin Luther King. My dad thought both of them was crazy. I liked Black Panthers because they would march. There was Black Panthers and WLCHC in my neighborhood. So I thought that was the coolest shit in the world. Had my two brothers out there marching with them big ass naturals and leather jackets. I thought that was shit till they started getting shot at. Then that changed. Hey. Now, but one thing about them, they wasn't no joke when it came to the police. They talking about fuck the police. Black Panthers was with it. Fuck the police long time ago. Okay, they just wasn't talking about. They went down with them a couple times. I know on the 54th and Central, I think it was, they had a big shootout back in the day.
I heard about that. Do you remember that as a youngster?
Hell yeah. Dude, that was the only thing the news was on, because back then you only had like 6-7 channels, and every channel had a cameraman out there ducking bullets like the police, and they was lighting up the doggone the headquarters. They had another shootout at a I think it was that was another group, Sin Tzu and Patty Hertz. All that was around the same time, man. All that was around the same time when brothers was really like, I'm tired of this shit. Okay, they wasn't marching. They wasn't bullet shopping. Okay, it was a whole different attitude back then, man. They wasn't marching, dude.
What a time that must have been, man. Last Easy E question. Everybody in the comments loves Easy E stories. Easy. Every time I saw Easy E, he had a cool ass stroll. When I see footage of him on stage and stuff, he has this cool ass limp, like almost like he's literally handicapped. Was that how he really walked, or was that just
that's how he walked? Man. That's how he walked. That's how he strolled. Easy had the most. Easy if he was an animal, he would remind you of a sloth. If he was an animal, he would remind you of a sloth. He didn't talk fast. He didn't move fast. He just was he had a real mild, smooth mannerism, period. Okay? He talked real slow. Lonzo, man, look here. I got some money, man, but it's for this right here. I'll take this $20. No, man, no. I never seen him really pissed. But he just had a real smooth demeanor about him. And that's what made it. That's where he got the name Easy E from. Because he had a real smooth demeanor. You know, he walked sometimes and he walk with his hands sometimes and he just, and he was always with his kids. He just was a different kind of dude, man. But
and maybe you could. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I did an interview the other day. I don't know if I should even say this or not, man, because I thought about some things, and I saw this documentary, and they were talking about how he was a genius, he was a genius, he was a genius, and he was a smart brother. I give him that, but I think he did not have enough savvy to understand where his real power was or his real situation was, because he was a made artist. He wasn't a natural artist. He was a made artist. Cube did his words. Dre did the music. Okay. And most people of the rock and roll era, like Jerry Heller and some other folks, their thing was always follow the lead singer. Okay. The lead singer of N.W.A, the front man of N.W.A was Eazy E, but the people that made Eazy E work was Cube and Dre. Okay. And that's where I think he missed it at. Okay. He missed that part. Maybe he got pumped up because he had so much money. I don't know. Maybe Jerry Heller pumped him up to thinking he was bigger than what he was. And after a while, he moved into his character very well. But that character was created by Cube and Dre. And when Cube left, Ren stepped in and made some things happen. But when Dre left, a big chunk of his persona was gone too. And like I said before, if you understand hip hop and rock and roll works differently. Rock and roll, you can get some more musicians to play behind you. If you are David Lee Roth or Beyonce or anybody else that's ever gone solo, because you're an artist and your sound is predicated on somebody else doing what they do. Okay. And the same thing here, somebody else's sound, your sound is predicated on somebody else's situation. But in most cases, either you got a group of writers or a group of producers that can pick up where those guys left off at. And that wasn't so much the case here. His situation was solely based on Dre's music and Cube's words, which made him that dude that everybody fell in love with. And when I don't think Jerry allowed him to recognize that. I think he pumped him up a little bit too high to where when it came to making the whole premise of Ruthless Records was for Dre, Cube, Yella, and Eazy to all be partners.
That's right. You mentioned that before.
That was the premise. That was the get down. They was going to be partners in that shit. And at some point in time, the shit shifted. They became employees. When you go from a partner to employee, especially in the beginning, when you're giving your potential partner $100,000 to do 5 albums, and you realize that's actually the budget for 1 album for most people, and these albums are going platinum, and you're not getting no more money, and you're not getting the proper publishing that you're supposed to be getting. So then you realize, damn, I thought we was boys. And that pisses you off. And I understand that. But at some point in time, I think the genius would have came back to the table and said, hey, man, I'm sorry. Let's work this out, as opposed to everybody pulling their dicks out and doing a slam dance. That was, DOC did write for him, but he still didn't have Dre's beats. He still didn't have Dre's music. There was some good producers, but they hadn't got to him yet. It didn't feel the same. It just didn't feel the same. It was good. It was okay, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't that same Dre sound. And I think that was kind of the ruthless demise till Bone came along.
That's right. Yeah. Chris Dax wants to know, hey, Lonzo, in your opinion, was Jerry more of a businessman or a promoter?
He was a businessman. He knew how to get the money. He knew where the money was. He knew how to go get it. Okay. Now, after talking to Mike Klein, I came to realize he wasn't as good of a businessman as he thought he was because Mike Klein had to come in and get some things rectified. Okay, that right there made a big difference.
Is it safe to say that if white kids from the suburbs didn't purchase N.W.A albums, that they wouldn't be as big as they ever got?
Uh, it damn
Or
sure.
did the hood have them like solid? Because I remember someone doing an interview and they said they went to a city that one of their first shows and they looked out and it was just a sea of white people in the audience and it tripped them out.
Yeah, it definitely took him over the top, dude. It definitely took him over the top. When you got a big white audience, that's a lot more numbers. We 13% of the population, and that makes them 87%. That's when you get if you get 10% of 87%, you still damn near got more than we rocking with. So yes, it definitely made a big difference.
Yeah. Did Easy ever confide in you during the time when he was kind of beefing with Dre and Ice Cube? Did he ever come to you for advice or anything like that?
No, we talked. We wouldn't talk about that too much. I kind of stayed out of that shit, man. You got too many homies. I did my dirt. Okay, I liked some shit when they was beefing, but I didn't really get in that shit too much, man. I tried to stay out of that shit because I knew at some point in time it's gonna get back together again. It was too tight. That's like when you side with your girl, your homeboy, and his girl get into it, and you cool with both of them. You say something supporting your homeboy, all of a sudden they get back together, and you the bad guy. Oh fuck no, 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 no. Nah,
Yeah.
nah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And you know what? I going back to Easy being one of the first trolls. Easy knew what he was doing, man. We talked about the devil worshiping thing, but one of his first troll movements, and I just thought about this the other day, and I know we talked about it in the past, but Easy E said in the song that he was born in a certain year. And if you added that up to when the album came out, he was like 15. So for a long time, I myself included, a lot of people thought Easy E was like 15 when in reality he was like 25. Do you happen to remember that?
Yeah, I remember that very well. He played. I'm telling you, dude. I you have to you would have had to knew the dude to understand how he thought about certain shit. If it was crazy, he played a lot in his real life. He was a funny dude. He wasn't no kick-ass gangster. He was a funny dude. He always had fucking jokes. And he could pull a joke on the whole goddamn country. Imagine, come on, man. That's some bomb ass shit. If I could pull off a joke and get the whole country to make me a shitload of money, I'd do it in a minute just for the story. Okay? Just for the fucking story. And he had the ability to do that. He was successful enough where he can tell a big ass lie and have people pondering, is this real or not? This motherfucker really 15? And then in the record, he ran, one of the lines ran wrong. Easy. You said you was born in 1977. Oh man, shut up. Some shit like that. So he knew how to get people's attention. Imagine if he was around right now. Imagine it with social media. I mean, that was just him in the media doing dumb shit, man. Magazines and shit like that. Still, shit was still analog. The world was still analog when he was doing his antics. But he knew how to play him. I mean, he was on Arsenio Hall or something, and he was wearing his vest with one eye, with glasses with one eye out. And they asked him a question. He speak to Rand, and Rand was
wearing the face mask, the Jason mask or something.
Okay, right. But I think he had on a straight jacket one time too. One time, I don't know what it was. He had a straight jacket on, hockey mask. They asked him a question, and he Rand, and Rand would answer the question. That shit got people talking, man. That shit got people talking. The Ouija board got people talking. That kind of shit, he created shit to make you talk, to give you something to talk about.
Yep. Genius back then, man. That was smart. Vista Light 1972 says, who was more business savvy in your opinion, Jerry or Iveen? Both came from the rock music.
Well, I'm gonna have to go with Iveen, man. Iveen, right. Monster, dude.
He's kind of hard to compare him to anyone.
I mean, this dude is, he saw it. He had his slide downfall. I think at one point in time, rumor has it that Interscope was on the skids. He took a chance, okay, and brought that shit back to a fucking monster, dude. Then he goes grabs another stack of money over at fucking at Monster Cables, and then sells the shit to fucking to sell beats to Apple. God damn.
That's a hard person to compare.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. I want to know what were your thoughts when you turn on and you hear this song called "Straight Outta Low Cash" and you see Chris Rock with the Jerry curl, and you see them literally mimicking N.W.A. CB4.
When I saw CB4, I'm like, are these motherfuckers clowning me too? Because they had Gusto. You had Gusto, then you had Trust Us, okay? I could have been either one of them characters in their eyes. You follow what I'm saying? I could have been either one of them. I'm running the club, okay? I'm running the club, doing my club business. I wasn't no cocaine dealer, but I had that look back then. I had the chains and the suits and some of the girls. And then you had Trust Us, who was a cool dude, had the girls and the look. But he ran the record company. I could have been either one of those characters. When I saw them doing that, it just kind of made me think more of CIA than N.W.A. Because CIA started off sounding more like the Beastie Boys. Their first thing they did was more of a Beastie Boy rendition, and then they went to the hardcore thing when they became CIA. Far as the backstory, guys from good families, blah, 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 not being gangsters, just, and then I can't say they stole nobody's image, but, it was kind of interesting. It had the similarities.
Yeah, that was a very, very funny movie. I love that to this day. You know what? I want your opinion or your thoughts on this, and I wonder if you even know this person, but do you know anything about the female white rapper that Eazy-E signed? I think it's Terry B or Ty.
Terry B, yeah. I never really messed with her too much. I knew of her, Terry B. I knew of her. I never really talked to her. I can't speak on her at all. I did know she was around. She was a ruthless.
Find anything on her. I would love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll try to get her on the show, man. I'm gonna definitely try to see if I can make that happen. I've been trying for years. Why do you think promoters get such a bad rap? And was it like that back with Motor as well?
Hell yeah, promoters are gamblers. I'm a promoter. I know how we think. We're gamblers. We might as well be at the blackjack table in Vegas with a handful of money and they can't cover the bet, most of us, okay? Most promoters are gamblers. What I mean by that is they got enough money to secure the venue, enough money to secure half the deposit and get the radio shit going, and they hoping they sell enough shit to get everybody their money. Most promoters don't have, a lot of them back in the day didn't have all the money necessary to do the venue. If the shit went bad, motherfucker, you're gonna look for this motherfucker. He ain't gonna be able to be found. Okay. I never had that problem. I had some tight nights. I had to go to the ATM a couple of times. Had to hit the safe a couple of times. Everybody got paid. A lot of cats didn't have that kind of fortitude. A lot of guys would just stiff you. They could. I mean, I'm sorry, we had a slow night. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. I'll get you the next one. And I experienced that so much as a DJ. I just couldn't do it to nobody else, man. I knew it. It was a bad feeling. It's just nah, dude. Because I'm one of the few guys in the game that been on all sides of this shit. Okay, I've been on all sides. I've been a promoter, an artist, DJ. So I know how it is for somebody to come looking for you at 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock for your money, and you ain't got it. Okay, or you got to get this dude a sad story. Okay, the most I told about it, hey man, I ain't got it right now. I'm going to the bank. Be right back. I'm going to the ATM, or I got to make a run to the pad. Okay. If I didn't get it like I was supposed to, I knew where I had it at. I never had to, and that made me different from a lot of promoters. I ain't gonna call no names, but nobody had looked for their money when it came to me. A lot of guys, they like I said, they're gambling, and if they ain't got your money, if you don't get your money before you go on stage, you might not get it.
I don't know if that's the real Milk 74, but if it is, shout out to Milk 74, West of Dillo. Yeah, I mean, how did the payment work, Lonzo? How, like, let's say you booked a big act. How did that work?
You
Like,
should
how do you
have
pay them up front?
you should have to, them up front, lock the date in. They send you a contract, and then once they get there, sometimes some guys want to get paid the sound check. If you are out of state and you got a big venue, most cats want to get paid the sound check. Some cats will get paid right before they go, or they get to the venue. After when they get to the venue, the money has to be delivered before I walk on stage. Okay, anything else is unacceptable. Once you do your show and bow your head, tell folks good night, you have no more power. None. Your power is gone. So you best to have your money. I had a couple of promoters. I mean, y'all go ahead and start. I'll be right back. I'm going to the box office, get some money. And I look over there, some bitch, he wasn't back yet. And I had a thing. I told my manager, Boss Hog, if we get to surgery, or we get to surgery, and we ain't got our money by then, show's over with. And couple times, we had to stop the show. And all I would do was play crazy like something broke. I tell Yella, hit the switch on the drum machine. We ain't got no sound. And now the people is rocking. They want to know what's going on. We still looking crazy. And when I tell Boss, hey man, and if he say we still got problems, when he go, well, we just fixed it. We good. That was our sign, man. If the manager gave us a thumbs up, if we had to go on stage before we got all our money, you got about we had about a 40-minute show back then. You got about 15 minutes into the show, but we found a problem that we can't fix right away.
Mark Long wants to know, hey Lonzo, what kind of Jerry curl did you have back in the day? The California or the Hawaiian? I didn't know there were two different ones.
I had the California, man. California. Fresh from my boy Dwayne. Dwayne's in Texas. He was a Jerry curl king. 3 hours, you in and out. 3 hours of curling and processing and washing, and then you had activated running down your neck like your neck had an oil spill in a damn in a wrecking yard. Yeah, mine was California, baby.
Okay, I'm trying to look. So what was it? I'm looking up the Hawaiian looks.
I don't know.
Difference? The Hawaiian looks a little more like dreadsy or something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I never knew there were two.
You had two kinds. You had the California curl. You had the S curl. The S curl you didn't have to roll up. The S curl was pretty much just a relaxer. It was a mild relaxer that worked with the kink of your hair. It relaxed it, but it didn't make it straight. Okay, a Jerry curl was a lot harder, so you had to roll it up because it would take all the kink out your hair. So you had to roll it up with some real tight rollers and let it sit for a while under the dryer, let it dry, then wash it out, and then let it dry again. And then when you dry, you look like when you got through the Jerry curl, your hair, your locks, your hair would roll up. You had to comb it, and then then you had to saturate it with goddamn oil to get because it would be dry, but it would be brittle damn near. It'd be so damn dry.
It doesn't sound like it was good for your hair. It doesn't sound like it was ideal.
No, it was not. It was not good for it. It was not good for your fucking hair, okay? Not good for your hair.
Damn, dude. How long did that phase last? How long did the Jerry curl phase last? Was it a year, years, months?
I wore my Jerry curl I went from the Jerry curl to the S curl because Jerry curls got expensive after a while. They started off being like $100 something, then they went down to $60. And when the S curl came out, you could buy an S curl kit for like $9, $10 and do it yourself. I did that up to the 90s. So I started doing Jerry curls back in the 80s, 82, 83. till about 90. I cut my. I've been bald since 94. Since 94, I got married for the first time in 94. So that's when I was bald. Right after I got married. So I did it for about 10, 11 years.
Okay. Fashion-wise, what was your favorite decade? 70s, 80s, 90s? When was Lonzo at his peak when it came to fashion?
Shit, I ain't never fell off, but I think probably, man.
No, your favorite, just your favorite when you just like, man, I love this. Just, even looking back, what was your favorite decade?
Late 80s. Late 80s. That's when they had the silk shirts out, no collars, because Jerry Curl would fucking be shit. I had every color silk shirt a nigga could imagine. I had shoes to match my silk shirts. I had pants to match my silk shirts and my pants and my shirts and my pants and my shoes. Because that's what Gator. We first started getting snake skins. I had snake skin loafers. I had some pink snake skin loafers. Okay, pink. I'm not bullshitting. Pink snakeskin loafers, okay, pink silk shirt with some nice purple pants. Oh, Negro, I look like a motherfucking Benny Barney with a Jerry curl, okay? But you couldn't tell me shit because my jewelry was freshly clean. We gonna get our jewelry clean like you got your clothes clean and spot me. You back in the day, you get your jewelry clean like you got your clothes clean. I go to the sloth and spot me. Homeboy throw all my shit in that little steam gizmo. Clean my shit up real good. My bracelets and my rings and shit, and my chain. Man, shit. The 80s, the late 80s, that was probably my fucking heyday. Because gangsters weren't the gang. Even the hustlers and OGs all dressed alike back then. I think the late 80s was like that's when the last of the slacks era. Okay. Brothers was wearing slacks. Even dope dealers wore suits. I got a picture of my homeboys from my neighborhood. Everybody got a suit on, and they was all out in the street. They was all corner boys. Okay, everybody wore a suit. You back then you get a suit for $50. Okay, you still can if you go to the right place, but they would get 50 suits for $50. Miami Vice was around, so niggas wasn't wearing no socks. This is Miami Vice days now, man. So Don Johnson and my boy had folks wearing. This was the first time you started seeing cats wearing suits and t-shirts. Okay,
a California suit, right?
Yes, right. Okay, so to see the Don Johnson look on the cat and he out there on the corner, that wasn't shit. When crack really, really took over, that's when cats had to come out them clothes, start wearing tennis shoes because you was fighting a lot more, you was running a lot more, and you had to be a little bit more prepared. But most guys could actually go out there and stand on the corner all day long and go to the club without even going home and changing clothes.
Eric says, Lonzo, did you ever have Gazelles? I think you
Gazelle.
Gazelle.
Yeah, Gazelle.
Gazelle, that's what
I never cared for Gazelle too much. They was too flashy for me. I like Lokes. I used to wear Lokes a lot back in the day. Hologram, what's up? Much love to you, baby. Hologram, EMC.
Thank you. Yeah, he says, I was watching your show with Mama Boo earlier. I said it would have been a damn shame to have gotten shot by somebody that fine.
Yeah, no, Mama Boo wasn't a shooter. She whooped your ass though. She knew she wasn't. She wasn't a shooter, but she damn sure handle your ass in a minute. We talked about that. We talked about that off camera a couple of times. She said, "No, I wasn't trying to go to jail for shooting nobody, but if a bra stepped out of line, they knew what to put on her."
Shout out to Marlon, good looking out. He says, "Yo, Unc, you should have used Richard Pryor's voice for when you say I ain't bullshitting." Oh yeah, we need to get some sound bits. I've been sleeping on that. I'm gonna get us some sound bits.
I do that. I load them up.
Most deaf. Hey, Mama Boo didn't want to answer the question about Cyclone Mike, but who is Cyclone Mike? Maybe that person is listening right now and they can get their question answered.
Brother from Athens Park. I know of him. I didn't know him that well, but
okay.
he's another brother that put in work from Athens Park.
Okay. Shout out to the chat. Before we head out, we got about 10 minutes. Please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time checking this out, you are tuned in to Not Without Alonzo. This is Alonzo Williams, the godfather of West Coast hip hop. If you do not know the name, do your Googles and go down that rabbit hole, and you will thoroughly enjoy the journey. Trust me. Make sure you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, please. Hey, Lonzo, did you hear about the? Let's move on a little bit to talk about. Did you hear about the spring break situation? How it's shootings all in spring break and it was canceled down in Miami?
No, I didn't hear that, man. I ain't surprised
Yeah,
though.
man. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, yeah, it's and it just seems like you can't go anywhere to have fun. I mean, when I used to go to spring break, dude, it wasn't. The first thing I thought about was probably getting like alcohol poisoning or something slipped in my drink or something like that, but not just getting let off in the middle of Miami, just bullets everywhere. It's crazy, man.
This dude, like I said, when I saw that guy on the hood of the car, police car, we in a bad situation when fools are so tuned in or so anxious to go viral, they'll risk their life to be on the hood of a police car. Two fools actually did that shit. One of them rode the bull a little bit longer than the other one did. But now, when you go to Miami, when it's supposed to be the most fun time of the year, spring break, bikinis and ass and tits everywhere, and you got fools want to shoot each other. You got all this womanhood everywhere, and all y'all could do is think about killing each other. That's a sad situation, man. That's sad, dude. And people and gang banging, gang mentality has killed every event we've ever had. And you wonder why you don't have it. Gang mentality, gang activity. There is no place to say, hey man, this is no fly zone. Okay. Nobody can call that shot. There's no shot callers that can say, hey man, we're going to Florida. Ain't gonna be no problem, right? Nope. I tell you what, if they said that if the Mexican mafia said that to their people, there would be no problems. There'd be no problems, huh?
Facts.
I remember watching I was watching my boy played Sonny in damn it, he played Sonny the gangster, and these old gangsters wouldn't check these young fools. Hey, these goddamn guns making the hood hot. Y'all leave that shit alone. Miss with that bullshit. Okay, and they knew.
I love that movie. Yeah, is that the one with the black girl, and the Italian dude? Yeah.
I know the name of it, but I just can't think of it right now. But yeah,
somebody in the comment section, black girl and the Italian dude love each other, but it's like a Romeo and Juliet.
Bronx Tale, thank you. That's my boy Marlon, Derek Mallory. Much love, Derek. Bronx Tale, Sonny and his crew ran the neighborhood. The youngsters are trying to follow their footsteps, and Sonny would not let certain dudes be a part of their shit. You can drive my car, but you can't be around these assholes. Get out of the car. Ain't nobody doing that no more, man. And everybody want to be down with the youngsters. They think somebody gonna blow up. They want to be on their team. That is the mentality. They think one of these youngsters gonna get a hit record, and they want to be on the team, so they're not gonna stop them from doing what they do. They're not gonna stop them because they hoping one of them blow up, so I could be his bodyguard, manager, whatever the case may be. And this is the problem with hip hop. There are no adults in the room that have any sense of responsibility. Think about this, man. Think about this. In hip hop, the average cat that's calling the shots, the Dre's, the Jay-Z's, ain't nobody 55 years old yet. They can't even get into a senior citizen home yet. And a lot of the people have been calling the shot. A lot of these people have been the bosses for 10, 15 years, which means they've been doing this since they was in their 40s. When I got in the game, everybody was 45, 50 plus, and it was a chain of command. I just reached out to Larkin Arnold the other day for the first time in a couple of years, check on him and try and get some advice. And there was no way in the world he would allow me to pull the shit that these guys are pulling right now and still be on the label. It wasn't going to happen. But because bullshit sells records, when records ain't no good, people go with the bullshit. Okay, people go with the bullshit. If the records is whack, but people about a product because of the bullshit. So so let the bullshit fly so the music can sell. And that's as real as I can get right now. You ain't got to have a hit
Yeah.
record. Just have enough bullshit around you, and we'll sell some T-shirts. We'll sell some. You'll get some Instagram likes. You'll get some Facebook. Some Facebook, YouTube money. You'll get some other money. And even if you don't sell no records, you can still stay relevant by creating bullshit. That's real talk.
Before we go, I want to encourage everybody out there. To check out Lonzo's other show with Dr. Dre, the Dr. Dre from UMTV Raps. They usually do it every Friday. They spit some game. They go back and forth on issues and hip hop and music and things like that. It's really cool. And before we go, Lonzo, I'm glad I got Dre to open up about this. Mentioned in the last episode that he had the pleasure of taking one Heather Hunter, this porn star back in the day. I'm very familiar with her work. Shout out to Heather Hunter. To the premiere of Who's the Man back in the day. To end this, I have a question for you, Lonzo. I mean, porn was big back in the day in the 80s and 90s. Did you ever rub elbows? Not necessarily say you had to sleep with anybody, but did you ever rub elbows with any porn stars, at your parties and while you doing your thing in the 80s and 90s?
I ran into more porn stars at Eve After Dark, the last go round from 2008 to 2019, I ever have. I ran into a gang of them. They came to the club. They were, there's a few of them right now on the internet that I know personally that they came to the club. We never dated, I never slept with them, but I know them. They were, the names, they got their names in the late 80s, late 2000s. They still look good. They still get out. Okay. Sky Black used to be a regular at Current Affair. Look her up. Bad motherfucker, but she was a regular at Current Affair. A few of them came, like I said, quite a few of them would come to the club because understand this. A lot of the dancers were male performers. A lot of the guys that danced Eve After Dark or last go around were male performers. They would invite the girls to support them. So, in some cases, that was dancing was a gateway to getting your freak on camera in some situations. So yeah, I met a lot of folks that was doing their thing back in the day.
Okay. Shout out to Heather Hunter. She still looks great. I'm following her on IG. She's pushing 50 and still looks amazing. Shout out to her.
She just pushing 50. She ain't pushed past 50 yet.
Man, she has to be. I'm trying to do the math. You know what? I'm tripping. She's past 50, dude. She's probably pushing 60.
Gotta be
closer to 60 because I'm 45. So yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, she was. Her heyday was in the late 90s. So yeah, man.
Yeah, you're right. Oh yeah. You're 100% right.
20 years ago. So yeah, yeah, over 20 years ago. So yeah, she should be right there with some nice digits. She should be AARP qualified by now.
Any last words, man?
Man, my documentary screening. I'm screening my documentary on Friday the 24th at the Dollar House Center. We're doing a Compton screening. If anybody's in the area, come on through. It's going to be at 2:00 in the afternoon, 2 to 5. I'm doing a movie at the mixer for my chamber. Thanks to my good friend, Miss Lily P. Darden, the 4th District. We're going to have a good time. We're breaking out the red carpet. We're going to do it just like we did in Hollywood. Only we're going to do it at the Dollar House Center. And I'm inviting all my Compton friends to see what we did. And this is the first the first of 3 documentaries that I got coming out. So yeah, if you're in the Compton area, but I'll be doing another one in Long Beach on the 13th. So if you're in Long Beach, hold out. So yeah, we got a few things popping off, folks. A few things are popping off. It's all good in the hood, and the Entertainment Chamber of Commerce is making itself felt. Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of making this felt, my new channel is up on Roku, the Compton Entertainment Channel. We're also on Fire Stick, Compton Entertainment Channel. That channel will be it's a subscription channel. It's only $3 a month to subscribe to it. Please subscribe to it. And I'm looking for more content, not just from the show, but from independent movies, short films, whatever. I'm building a community channel. So I want to give people a chance to be seeing stuff that you might not see. Stuff that's better than YouTube, better than YouTube, but not quite Tubi. Okay. I'm definitely doing this. It's already in the making. If you go to ComptonENTChannel.com, you'll see my website, or ComptonEntertainmentChannel.com. I got both domains to make sure that you can find us. Compton ENT Channel or ComptonEntertainmentChannel.com. You'll see our website, and we got some great things coming. The channel is a community channel for the city of Compton, folks. So support it if you get a chance to. I much appreciate it.
Yes. And before we go, Lonzo, if I may give a shout out, I just got my my first merchandise in, Dusty Vision wear. There will be more coming. So if anyone is interested in grabbing a shirt, hit me up on Instagram, Dusty Vision TV, and we'll set it up. I'll get it shipped out to you. Premium T-shirts, only $30, and it comes with a flash drive of my new project that I have been working on. So if you support Dusty Vision, please go over to my Instagram and hit me up, and I owe a couple people shirts. Marlon hit me up on Instagram, and Rashard hit me up. I got you guys for free because you guys are supporters of the show. But yeah, other than that, man, it's always a pleasure, Lonzo.
Much love, folks. All right, y'all. We're out of here. It's Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast Hip Hop, and the president of Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce with my man Dusty, folks. Dusty Vision. See y'all Friday actually see y'all Thursday with me and Dr. Dre. I'm gonna be busy Friday doing the screening. In the meantime, y'all, peace. We out of here.